huge tunnel complex that had a massive intelligence compound underneath it. And we were hoping, like, we didn't know, right? There was just intelligence that this would be there. And it was supposed to be like the data center of Hamas. And we're hoping to find it, but at the same time, we're literally searching underneath a middle school and an elementary school. RPG underneath a 6-year-old's twin-size pink bed in the first or second house we went into. 100% was the most sad thing I saw, because you hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
That was one.
What goes through your head when you see that?
I mean, all your training is like, you know, you go in, and it was literally, I remember it was the first like room that I opened and cleared myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going in and you're trained, and I thought it was like concrete buildings and this and that. And you see it's like a proper house. It's no longer a drill, concrete, empty house. But you're going in, and I turn the corner, and I'm like, it's a pink twin-size bed. You know, looked like my little sister's room 20 years ago. So you just feel this like human element of like, oh my God, these are real people. This is real this is real that. You're not
what am I doing
anything.
here?
Yeah. And then you go and you search, because it's part of your training, and you lift the bed and you're like, holy shit, there's a freaking RPG in here. And it's not the 6-year-old girl's RPG. It's her dad's, or maybe Hamas came afterwards. Who knows what the story is? But there's a freaking RPG underneath a 6-year-old girl's twin-size bed. That was the most disturbing.
Because even in our side,
that was the first most disturbing. There were 2 or 3 other ones that were incredibly disturbing that I have to mention. Yeah. Number 2 was the very, very end. We were in, forgetting where it was now, but basically we were helping secure the area so that a different special forces unit could go and carry out an entire mission to try to find a huge tunnel complex that had a massive intelligence compound underneath it. And we were hoping, like, we didn't know, right? There was just intelligence that this would be there. And it was supposed to be like the data center of Hamas. And we're hoping to find it, but at the same time, we're literally searching underneath a middle school and an elementary school. An UNRWA middle school and an elementary school. So this tunnel, like,
of course,
there's like, on one side, on one block, there's an UNRWA middle school, then there's a little alleyway or road, and then on the other block is an UNRWA elementary school. And we're digging in the alleyway in between. Well, not we, but they're digging the alleyway in between to try to see and get to this tunnel. And you're partially hoping you find it, obviously, but also you're like, I hope they are not putting their largest intelligence compound underneath a freaking middle school and elementary school, or building an intelligence compound on top of their thing, whichever came first. And it, you know, they find this massive tunnel complex and this massive intelligence compound underneath the middle school and elementary school. So like, that was incredibly disturbing. Then we go into that middle school and elementary school.
But because you saw the complex underneath?
We didn't go underneath.
Yeah.
We didn't go in because we're not a tunnel unit. But, you know, they told us that we found it. And then we go into the middle school and elementary school, because now there's tunnels and openings all around that.
How do those schools look like? They look like normal schools you went to?
They're perfectly normal. What's sad is that they have a huge map of Israel, Palestine, whatever you want to call it, without the 1967 borders. Like, it's all of Israel with
the river to the sea,
from the river to sea, and Gaza in one big thing without any borders surrounding it.
Philistine.
With Palestine on it. And it's everywhere, and they have pictures of the Nakba, and that is what they're being educated. And that was the third thing. We went inside one of those UNRWA schools, and they had a what's it called? We're going through the library, and we're going through the desks, and there's Mein Kampf, Hitler's book, inside of an UNRWA elementary school.
I've heard so many people finding Mein Kampf.
They're everywhere, and it's real. Like, these schools have Mein Kampf in it. What world is that? What you want the teachers to be reading or teaching the children? Other books you're looking at, and it's like, if there's, you know, they're talking about death and killing inside these children's books of like math. Like, it makes no sense.
Are there actually? I mean, I was on an intelligence tour where they found some things in Gaza, and I mean, I saw like one series of books where they actually talk about killing Jews, but you saw.
Not killing Jews specifically.
Israelis.
It's more like,
I mean, they were very Jewish.
It's more, the biggest one that was like very blatant to us was like Mein Kampf in Arabic. That was the most disturbing to see. And that was one of our last days in Gaza. Then we got out, and then I see all the stuff in the encampments all over the schools and how all the anti-Semitism. And I was like, this is deep rooted. Like, these kids are being taught that Jews are terrible, not just Israel.
You know what I'm most afraid of right now, that we have this deal with Hamas and they're staying in power, is exactly that. Because up until now we had, at least that we know of, 19 years since 2006, where the Gazans have been teaching their kids in their schools, like you've seen, Mein Kampf, Hitler, all of that is yours. All that has been stolen. You need to go and kill Jews. And now that the war has ended, we had two options. Either we don't leave a jihadi power in Gaza, or we leave them in Gaza. Because what do those two options actually mean? You know the Marshall Plan after World War II?
Where you rebuild like all of Europe or Germany and all. Yeah.
Exactly. So it was Germany, but it was also Imperial Japan.
And it's also demilitarized Germany and demilitarized
So there's exactly, it's basically rebuilding the society in Nazi Germany and Imperial Japan. Now, Nazi Germany, that's what we all know, but Imperial Japan was much more extreme than Germany.
Yeah.
Because think about, for them, the emperor was like the god. And they killed themselves with the kamikazes. So they were as... I'd say that in their thoughts as extreme as the Gazans, as the Arabs in Samaria.
Yeah,
and the Marshall Plan, exactly. The Marshall Plan basically said, you guys have no more weapons, no more Imperial Japan. We are going to teach you what you have to teach your kids, and that's you've done it wrong.
100%.
That's it.
100%.
So we could have done something similar with Gaza, saying, you guys have been teaching your kids to kill themselves for an ideology that is not relevant anymore. It's not right. Shouldn't exist. We are going to change your education system so you guys can just live peacefully where you are with your neighbors.
Spot on.
Well, what's going to happen now if Hamas stays in power, which is already staying, they're going to teach the kids, look at what the occupation did.
Yep, 100%.
Now you have to work harder. Instead of saying...
Everything we told you pre-October 6th, look, it's true.
Instead of saying, look what our mentality did, let's try something different.
Spot on.
They're going to teach them, look what they did, now we have to fight harder.
Spot on.
And that is what's driving me crazy, because Mein Kampf is now going to stay in the schools. And those the math books and those posters are because the RPG you found under a 6-year-old. We have soldiers who come back home with an M16 with a rifle. And we are taught, when you go back home, you have to break it into three pieces, put in thing. So only when you walk around, you don't put it under your brother's bed.
Yeah.
It's
or
insane.
Your 6-year-old sister's
or
bed.
your 6-year-old daughter's bed.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to put her in danger. But for them, it's not danger. It's an honor. She's being part of sacrificing herself for this. That's fucked. There's no other sensory way to 100%. This is fucked.
It's 100% spot on. Yeah. I that's why I'm very, when we got the hostages back and the deal was accepted and all that and the war's over, part of me was very happy because so if we got the hostages back and let's celebrate.
But something deep inside of you says.
But there's also
else.
like, okay, what's next? Like, what's happening? I also knew that Hamas wasn't going to keep and uphold their part of the agreement. At least we have the live hostages, and I've said it, and I would say it again, and I say it publicly. It's like, I'm willing to go into Gaza again and fight again if it's to dismantle Hamas and to the point of Marshall Plan, Germany post World War II, Japan post World War II. Like, I'm willing to go in for that. To go in to retrieve bodies of hostages, like, no, I'm not going to go and then you take out my body and a hostage's body. Like, it's not worth it. As sad as it is, and I would say it to and I don't think any mother of a dead hostage would want soldiers to go in just for the body. But if it's to dismantle Hamas, if it's to make sure that Israel is safe and Gaza is safe, because Gaza's not safe under Hamas rule. No. So if it's to make sure that Gaza and Israel
they're massacring their own people, left and 100%. Right, in public.
100%. So if it's to go and make sure those two places are safe, send me in. Like, I'll do it. I'll postpone work again. It doesn't matter. It's worth it.
I'm going to say something that a lot of audiences might not like, which is, I think, is Israel's weak part. Like we said with the advocacy before, that we don't look at the bigger picture. And like we said, we're putting a red line, like this cannot happen again. We have been now for 2 years, because you're talking now next time, the next hostages. That mentality will bring another war, another hostage, because if we were already 2 years in Gaza, we should not have left.
What happened last time?
Exactly. But we had a weak spot for our live hostages, for our dead hostages. We had a weak spot.
Very weak spot.
A very weak spot. And instead of saying something hard that's saying, look, I know these people were taken against their will. I know they're not their army. I know they've been suffering there for 2 years in the tunnels, being tortured. We know the hell on earth that we're going. But there's a red line. We cannot have an option that Gaza goes back to what it was.
100%.
Regardless of
100%.
what happens now.
100%.
Because we went on the streets for the hostages, we put international pressure, and now we have a deal that the hostages came back, but Hamas is going exactly where it was.
Yeah.
And right now, we had yesterday, for the fourth time since the ceasefire started, people shooting at IDF soldiers in Rafah, okay? And I think another soldier died from a sniper rifle.
Yep. There were 2 a week ago, and there was 1 yesterday.
Do we go back to war? Do we say, you guys broke the ceasefire, this is done?
It's more complicated than that because,
exactly.
look,